What's up, Muscle and Strength? Don Saladino here to show you my pre-workout meal. Now, I normally like to work out, when I say early morning, like kind of early mid-morning, so probably anywhere from between 8 and 11 a.m. And depending on the time, that's what's helping to dictate what my pre-workout meal looks like. The one thing I want to go on record by saying is I do start with a no-carb meal that is higher in fat. And the reason for this is because I feel like that I have enough carbohydrates in my storages from the day before. And I also feel like the higher fat meal helps with brain function and energy. Sometimes when I go too high on the carbs pre-workout, I actually will get this feeling of being lethargic. So I'll actually get sleepier, and the first 20, 30 minutes of my workout is not enjoyable because I'm just kind of dragging the entire way through. So today, I wanna walk you through exactly how I go about doing this. So the first thing I do in the morning is I wake up and I use Lumen. All right, this is basically a way of testing my metabolic flexibility. So I'll sit down, I'll basically relax for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I will blow into this chamber for about 10 seconds roughly, and with that it's measuring the amount of carbon dioxide that I'm outputting, and based off of that it tells me whether I need to go on a higher carb or a higher fat day. And this promotes metabolic flexibility. So for a lot of you out there who are going maybe high carbs and lower fat, or higher fat and lower carbs, that's all okay, but what starts happening is we start really only utilizing that energy storage. So if you're a high carb person, I love carbs, but we're only becoming efficient at burning carbs. And when you need to burn fat, your efficiency level drops a lot. So I have some seasoned ground turkey meat. I season it with salt, pepper. That's pretty much it. I don't really like going too crazy on this. And I use about the 93% because when I want to go with a higher fat meal, if I use something like tilapia, or if I use a whitefish or a chicken, it's too lean. And I always will supplement with either, this over here, an MCT oil or a very high quality olive oil. I'm a member of an olive oil club where I get this sent to me from over in Italy. So it's basically seasonal and regional, and it's divided by where the olive oil is produced in each region, and I love this. And I like using different sources of fats, just like using different sources of vegetables and different sources of protein, because when we use the same exact sources over and over, we can develop food sensitivity. So if that food has levels of protein in it, and a lot of you might have seen that, you start consuming eggs, and then a few months later, you're like, you're like all congested, you might have developed a food sensitivity, which is different than a food allergy. So taking our 93% meat, I'm gonna weigh out right now about 6 ounces. All right, so we got our 93.7 ground turkey, and now I'm using Brussels sprouts. So I do like to marinate my Brussels sprouts in olive oil with a little bit of Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. I think the salt is really important for trace minerals. It acts as a natural rehydrant, and I sweat a lot because I'm working out a lot. So I'm using Brussels sprouts right now because I like to vary the vegetable sources. So cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus, peppers, Brussels sprouts. Like, I'm always switching up those sources. And if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm trying to find a source that maybe I don't have access to. So right now, I'm gonna probably get around 6 to 8 ounces. Oh, this might be perfect.
So you weigh out your veggies?
I do.
A lot of bodybuilders we work with say they don't count.
Well, I don't count the veggies, but I still weigh it out. All right, I wanna make sure, I'm not concerned with the macronutrients from the veggies, I'm concerned with the micronutrients. So I think an area that bodybuilders go wrong in is that they're only concerned with the macronutrients, and their meals are not powerful. So what's the purpose of me having my protein? It's a muscle building block. What's the purpose of me doing this vegetable? It's acting as fiber. It's adding micronutrients into my body, which is allowing my body, my internal power plant, as I like to refer to it, as being more powerful. This is how we are, more resilient to being sick, or change of seasons, or stress, etc. You can't turn around and just eat protein and rice. I mean, that's, in my eyes, that's dead food. We need to make sure our food is alive. And for even you bodybuilders out there who are trying to prepare for the stage, you will find that your body becomes more resilient. our vegetables is a way that we detox our body as well, and it's gonna be very helpful for you. So we have our 6 ounces of protein, and now I'm going with my 8 ounces of Brussels sprouts, and I'm mixing in about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I have to get some of the biggest names in Hollywood ready for the big screen. I have to get, professional athletes ready for their field of battle. And for me, it's very important that yes, we look a certain way and that we are lean and they look good on the screen, but also that their bodies are powerful and inflammation is low and recovery is high. And this is where even bodybuilding is going. It has to, because we need to promote more health and more longevity. And we're gonna be doing that from focusing on things like this. So yes, I will not count my macros from my Brussels sprouts, but I will count my micros from my Brussels sprouts. Very important. I'm gonna dump that on right now. Give it a little bit of heat. Let that sizzle. Turn it down a little bit. And then what I wanna show you guys, and this is really important, is how I log. You see these?
Show us.
Little thin optics here. So this is like pulling your gun out of your holster. So right now, boom, boom, awesome. So now what I'll go and do is I will log in my ground turkey, and we're gonna hit on that. And right there, I got 46 grams of protein and almost 20 grams of fat. Now we're gonna mix in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So now we're at about 46 grams of fat. So that's about where I want myself for that meal. Because today my fat's gonna come in at around 180 grams.
Wow.
Right, so it's gonna be
You eat a lot of fat.
on my higher fat days, yeah. So on my higher fat days, I bring that up. Now remember, we have 2 ways, 2 energy sources in the body. And that's that you consume from a macronutrient standpoint. Your fat and your carbohydrate. Your protein is not an energy source. And a big problem that I see is when we go way too low on our fat and we go way too low on our carbs, what ends up happening? Your body starts taking protein, which is your building block, and it'll convert that to your energy source, which is an unnatural process. So now you're not using that protein to rebuild those torn down, those microscopic fibers that you're ripping apart when you're training. So you have no way to, heal those muscles. On the other hand, your body becomes way less efficient at burning fats and carbohydrates because you're not using it. And then what happens, guys? All right, it's very common. You go in for a big weekend, a big cheat meal, and then you end up putting on all this weight. And let me give you an example. When I went on my honeymoon to Italy for 2 weeks, I ate nothing but pizza, pasta, gelato, and I drank wine, and I actually lost 8 pounds. Okay, now if I did that long term, that would not work out for me. I would put on body fat. But short term, it recognized that my body was in a deficit, and because my body was in a deficit, it didn't have enough calories, I was losing weight. But if I did that over a long period of time, no bueno. But I did this from allowing my metabolism to be flexible in utilizing both energy sources, which is fats and carbs. So you can see right there, if I wanted to put the Brussels sprouts in, which I'm gonna log anyway. So we're gonna log that anyway just to see where it actually comes to. Brussels sprouts, we had, it's going to ounces here, the best at 8 ounces. So we're getting 16 grams of carbs. Now, I do believe that our veggies are free. It's almost an irrelevant number, but I like to mix that in because it's letting me know where my micronutrient ratios are. So am I hitting my vitamins? Am I hitting my fiber? Or am I getting those other things that are really important to me? So I woke up today, saw that I had to be higher fat. We're starting this first meal off higher fat. Now when I go and I train, I'm gonna have brain fuel. I'm gonna have protein that I need, and I'm gonna have enough carbohydrates in my system to where it's gonna be able to get me through the workout. Now for some reason, if I feel like, for whatever reason, that my energy level starts dropping, during the workout, I might get an intra-workout carbohydrate mix. There's a couple of different companies that I like to use. I might even turn around and down cooked oats by a company called Mush. Just something really simple, really easy, a quick 35 grams of protein into my system, and that's gonna help me out. But all in all now, I'm such a pro at this, and I know how my body's responding. We're about good here. That's a powerful meal. That's a meal that's higher in healthy fats, that's very high in micronutrients, and it's giving me the protein that I need. So now my mental function, my brain awareness is way better. When I do a lot of public speaking, I'll never have carbohydrates before I go and speak. I just feel like I'm that much sharper, and then I'm able to respond, and I have that much better brain function from going with this higher protein, higher fat meal. Now, if you're someone who is trying to put on size or you're trying to gain weight, then I would take a meal like this. I would probably drop that 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So bringing that down to just 1 tablespoon that's sauteed in there. And then I would maybe mix, let's say, probably 6 to 8 ounces of sweet potato in there as the first meal. I still feel like if we come in with 12, 14 grams of sweet potato, or we're doing a heavy rice meal, it could cause you to crash. And you're doing me no good if you're going into the gym and you don't have optimal brain function and an optimal level of energy. The key here is with everyone is this is a weighing game. We got to look at your lifestyle. If you're someone who's like me and you're burning a lot and you're always moving around, the carbs are going to have to be a lot higher. Some days my carbs come up to 700 grams. And when they do, I better get carbs in with that pre-workout meal because that's a lost opportunity. And if I'm getting in 700 grams in a day, then you better make sure that I'm getting about 125 grams a meal to 150 grams a meal. It's a lot of carbohydrates, but my body does great with it. It allows my metabolism to stay flexible. It allows everything to just burn the way that I want to burn. And I'm able to keep a really low level of body fat all year long. So I think that's really important.